23-year-old Phil Drewiski, a recovering heroin addict, says he spent the past 2 years and 8 months working hard to stay sober. After nearly 14 different treatment options, Drewiski says going to prison is what really saved his life. Now that he is clean, Drewiski says one form of treatment only aided his addiction.
I had experience with methadone that the high was even more intense than it was with heroin.
In 2008, Drewiski spent 9 months in a methadone program in Woodbury, Minnesota, trying to fight his opiate addiction. According to experts at Ellie Phillips Treatment Center in Chippewa Falls, methadone is a clinically prescribed opiate synthetically made to be taken in place of heroin or other commonly used street drugs.
Methadone is a full antagonist, so it attaches to your brain the same way that heroin or opiates do. So if you're on methadone, you're taking a medication that keeps your brain in that active addiction kind of phase.
During that 9 months, I got more addicted to methadone than I was on heroin. And the withdrawals were 10 times worse.
Drewiski says his program started him on 80 milligrams of methadone and continued to increase his dose.
The highest I got was 180 milligrams. And that was, I don't know if I've been more messed up on that than I was with heroin.
As an addict, Drewiski says he was always chasing that next high.
I used to always try to take my shot, and it takes a little bit to kick in. It takes about 15 minutes, they say, and I would run out to my car and try to get high on heroin before I do methadone.
Drewiski learned quickly, however, that heroin and methadone don't mix well. Methadone attaches to the brain's opiate receptors, preventing the heroin to attach, resulting in sickness.
If you do it while you're on this, you're gonna get extremely sick. And obviously I didn't believe him at first. I'm like, I'll try it. And I got horribly sick. I was vomiting, I shaking, I could not function, I was sweating, and it just felt like you had a horrible flu.
After multiple failed drug tests, Drewiski was kicked out of his program in April of 2009. However, another patient had a much different experience. Callista Griffin has been going to the Metro Clinic in Eau Claire nearly every day for 2.5 years.
I think everyone's experience is different, honestly, and it all depends on when you come here, are you ready to get sober? Because if you're not, you're gonna keep going up and you're gonna keep your dose to keep yourself high. So really, honestly, I mean, you can stay here and you can stay high.
While Gadel and the staff at Ellie Phillips choose not to use methadone as a form of treatment, she says methadone has some advantages.
If you're on methadone, you're not scoring drugs illegally. Your drug is available to you. It allows people to function normally.
According to Griffin, the Eau Claire Metro Clinic sees nearly 500 patients a day. Every patient is required to attend group therapy meetings weekly and check in with a counselor once a month. She says with only one doctor at the clinic, some people slip through the cracks.
And a lot of people don't go to meet their counselor when they're supposed to, or they don't go to their once weekly required groups. So I think a lot of that is more on the patients than it is on the staff, and just the staff doesn't kick them out because of it.
Unlike Drewiski's program, Griffin says patients aren't kicked out if they don't attend meetings or fail to pass drug tests. She says the Metro Clinic leaves it up to the patient to make those choices.
No, that's on you. That's on you when you decide to walk in these doors. It's not up to someone else to tell you, you need to get better, because you can only do that on your own. That is completely up to you. So if you walk in here and you're not used to, methadone clinic, I can get high every day and stay high, sweet, then that's what's going to happen.
Now that Drewiski's clean, he has some advice for other addicts.
I think before, if I was still using, and if they still wanted to get high, I'd be like, oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the best program ever. But if you don't want to do this stuff anymore, that is the last thing you want to do, is doing methadone.
Griffin says she's just beginning to decrease her dosage. She hopes to be done using methadone by this time next year.
I tell myself every day, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. Even if I have to be sick for a little while, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. I want to have a normal life.
For Inside Eau Claire, I'm Ginna Roe.